Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wanted for March 29th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 13. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about... Sorry, the sentient AI is throwing me error messages of some sort. Happily engaged signals. Okay, okay. So we talk about 5 articles. It's gadgets and gear news. And so today we're going to be talking about XR glasses from Samsung, the Skydome tent from Coleman, King Arthur sourdough starter. I don't know. Hodo laser measuring tool and the H2D 3D printer from Bambu, which has been apparently getting talked about online. And some people are saying, why do they need it? Well, we're going to talk about it, but all of it is powered by ohmtown.com. So go over and become a citizen. But if you don't want to just read all of the news, which there are thousands of little headline snippets in our system each day, you can subscribe to Just Wanted. And that's where most of our news comes from. But on the weekends, sometimes we grab stuff for the Wanted show that isn't bound in Wanted, but we direct link you to it. So stick around and watch some of our show, and hopefully we'll tease you into sticking around longer. And maybe you'll subscribe over on Twitch and follow us on YouTube. Support us through Patreon, which is nothing more than signing up. You'll get informed when we release stuff, but see you on the other side of our intro. By the way, if you want all of today's articles, they're already embedded in the show notes over on YouTube and on Twitch. You have to hit !want. They are there only until the next week, but they're embedded in the VOD for 60 days. If you watch the VOD, the chat that's there also has the URLs. Anyway, hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Thanks for coming. You have an ethereal voice on the VODs now, but that's because it's the voice from on high, the AI, the one and only sentient AI from the future.
You're setting the bar a little too high.
Well, just so the point that everybody realizes your voice is a booming voice from everywhere, inside your head, outside your head. You'll hear it in your sleep, nightmares and dreams. You everywhere. Pick up that can. Oh, wait. Pick up that can. You okay?
Yeah, but I don't think that took.
Really?
Only at the end.
Oh, it didn't activate until afterward.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, now we're back. I think. Yes. Okay. We're back. There's some delay, which really sucks. I'd like it to happen like that. But anyway. All right, let's get into our 5 articles. The first article is over in RealityHacker, which is the show that we just ended, and now we're in Wanted. And Samsung reportedly planning to release XR glasses this year. I have been so hot for glasses. I want XR glasses. Now,
I'm glad you clarified. I thought you were talking about regular glasses.
No, well, I'm wearing these glasses, but the other day, I lost these glasses, and I'm like, I'm never going to find these glasses again. And I went and bought 2 more pairs of glasses. They only ordered 1. And in the meantime, between any of these, they ended up ordering the second one 2 weeks later. When I went in to get the other glasses. So now I have 3 pairs of glasses, and then the 4th one showed up.
You found the original.
Because I found this one. I actually forensically analyzed my day, and I went back and found them all. Like I found where I was, and apparently when I was packing up a bunch of stuff, I had leaned over a container and they fell out of my pocket into the container, and I didn't realize it. So I have to put an Apple AirTag on. You doing okay?
That would probably be good. I mean, a lot of people should do that.
Yeah, really. I'll be like a grandma, with the the little loops on the end of my glasses and an air tag hanging off the back. I'm sure that
I'm not sure you should do that.
a small radio attached to the back of my head won't do have any problems. Anyway, Samsung is going to be releasing. It says we've been waiting to hear about Samsung's entrance into XR for a few years now, and the company's still unnamed mixed reality headset, Project Muhan. Oh, Muhan, not Wuhan.
Right, exactly. I know you went in a different direction there.
Wow, that could have been really bad. Anyway, it's set to debut sometime this year running Google Android XR operating system. Now, a report from ET News in Korean maintains that South Korean tech giant may also have a pair of XR glasses up its sleeves. Citing industry sources, the report alleges Samsung is developing XR glasses, noted as smart glasses in the report. More on that below. Once we get over to the source is actually Road to VR. Scott Hayden put this article together. Go to roadtovr.com. You can actually get there by clicking the link that's in the chat or in the show notes over on YouTube, or the chat over in Twitch. Again, you all have to, if they're not already there, when you log in to Twitch, all you have to do for the next week is hit !want, and Omatron will spit that out. I don't have to be streaming, although I might be running a replay. The bot is always connected, and you'll be able to interact with it. Yes, it will pump the brakes on you if you overload it, so don't play those reindeer games. Anyway, so Samsung is reportedly now finalizing functions and specs on the device, which is said to be codenamed Coast or Seashore in Korean, but it says up here it was called Project Muhan. So is that
interesting?
Muhan?
Why does it have two different names? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, the project is Muhan. The item is codenamed Han, Coast or Seashore in Korean, and that's just a code name. Maybe that's how it's working. But if that's what it is, it's DOA. Please tell me that it's not this. Please tell me that it's not this.
Those look like VR glasses, not XR.
Hey, you know, your audio isn't working the visualizer anymore. That's sorry. Okay. Well, maybe I don't know what's going on. Well, I'm gonna keep going. AR glasses like Meta Orion, which blend digital images with the user's physical surroundings, and smart glasses, which typically have a more simplistic heads-up display, like the now retired Google Glass. You can find out more about the differences between the smart glasses and AR glasses here. But AR glasses superimpose graphics into your field of view. Mixed reality glasses do the same thing. These could be mixed reality glasses, but not extended reality glasses.
But they don't look like it, right? They look more substantial.
Oh, you're really quiet again. Hold on. I'm going to turn you up. But you're quiet for me, not necessarily for everybody. Oh, no, you're quiet for everybody. Sorry. Yeah. So it says, while reports should generally be taken with a grain of salt, ET News was the outlet that broke that the LG was shaking up its XR product division, confirming that talks with Meta are going in a seemingly unplanned direction. Regardless, just because one detection of a shift was accurate, it doesn't mean all of them are. And I don't want to lay anything on reputation alone. So hold on one second.
I think I'm good now.
Yeah, you are. So still, this isn't the first time that we've heard that Samsung is getting ready to enter the XR glasses space. If you want to know what real XR glasses are, go to X-Real. Those are what I want. The X-Real 1 Pros, the more advanced one.
They look more like regular glasses, right? The X-Reals.
Yes. Yeah. Other than they stand off a little bit further from your face and they're much thicker.
Yeah, they're bulkier, but they're less like VR goggles.
Correct. They're less ski goggles. They're less dive goggles. This is DOA. if it's going to be used by the average citizen. So I'm really tempted to just yet again put my order in.
How many times would that be?
This would be number 4. But there's a lot of external pressures that are impacting me. I am mayor after all. Anyway, this all looks pretty cool. I would love to have actual XR glasses. And at this point, I want these only because I want competition.
Right. I mean, that's important that multiple manufacturers have these.
Yeah. I would love to be, basically, I would get the best of both worlds because I'd get either that as an option or the other one as an option. And I'd get a lower price and more feature, etc. Competition is good for the consumer.
Right, because it's going to force everybody to come out with better features, better prices, etc.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. So here's to Samsung hitting the market. I'm not a big fan of everything being siloed in one company's operating system. The reason why people use Android is because it's either free or relatively cheap. It depends on which segment you are in. And if you have agreements, et cetera, that allow you to get certain functions and licensing and whatever else. But anyway, Android is free to developers. I just want XR glasses. So I guess I'm going to get the X Reels and just bite the bullet. I mean, they're expensive. Are you going
to actually receive them?
Maybe. I'm getting confirmations still, hey, we're still processing your order, but I canceled it.
Maybe you're going to receive the previous ones.
I guess we're going to see. Well, we'll see. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over in the Wanted channel. Elevate your camping trip with Coleman Skydome tent with LED lights and tech ports for just $100.
This is the tech-friendly camping experience because I think camping and tech, for the most part, don't really mesh.
Right. It's almost like glamping, right? Glamorous camping.
Right.
So you'll have LED lights and tech ports. This tent is not only super easy to set up, but it's also some low-profile tech for outdoors, making outdoors a little bit more fun. You're supposed to distance yourself from that kind of tech.
Yeah, but can anybody really do that? Or can some people really do that?
No. Not me. So Christine Chan over at cnet.com put this article together, and it says here, the tent is not only super easy to set up, this is the deck statement that I said earlier, but it also has some low-profile tech to make the outdoors a little more fun.
Now, when they say easy setup, do they mean like put it on the ground and it kind of like pops into place?
So it says camping is an activity that isn't for the faint of heart. You have the outside. You have to be outside with nature, which, if you can't tell by my voice right now, I am being hammered by nature. So it means pesky bugs, possible harsh weather, dirt, no electricity. I bring these massive power banks that have USB-C and other things, and I bring 2 of those whenever I travel now because I want to be able to power up a laptop and multiple times without having to go back to a charging port somewhere. Yeah, I go nowhere without electricity backup. In fact, my jacket, I have 2 USB-C 10-foot cables and high power Anchor 75-watt wall warts so that I can just plug into an outlet.
I mean, you're covered for everything.
At any time, that's right. But if I'm going to be out and I know I'm not going to be near a power jack, a socket, I actually bring these huge Anchor. Once I went to travel and I put them in my suitcase, and going through the checkout, the person says, "Do you have any of this in your suitcase?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn it. I thought that's where it was supposed to be." I totally forgot about it. And so I'm sitting there in the walk-through lane. Terminal, mm-hmm. Yeah, taking stuff out. And I'm like, my underwear flying this way, socks going that way. Hey, Choppa, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. So, yeah, this thing, it says it's only $100 during Amazon Spring Sale. I don't know if that's going right now, but I don't pick this stuff because of the price. I pick this stuff because I want it. And price is subjective to your need, desires, etc., your wants. So I think that this is pretty cool. It is the Skydome tent. It says can handle that too. So harsh weather, no problem. It features WeatherTech system with a tube-like floor, welded corners, inverted and tapered seams.
That's like a tub-like floor.
Yeah. Is that what I said? Tub-like floor. Yeah.
You said,
I said
tube-like.
tube. Hey. You keep me in check. That's right. So unless you're camping in a hurricane, and you probably shouldn't be doing that, well, the tent should be able to handle whatever you send it. So this is what it looks like right there.
I mean, it does look easy to use, and it seems like it would make it a little less in the wilderness.
Yeah, and it has LED lights, and it has ports for you to plug into. So I dig this. Let's see. It says the frame can withstand winds up to 35 miles per hour.
Wow, that would be quite crazy to be camping in 35 mile an hour winds.
Yeah,
most
you're
people
out.
Can't really walk in winds that high.
You're out in Alaska with the wind just ripping through the countryside. Anyway, let's keep going. Metal? Choppa said metal? How so? Metal? Is this metal?
I don't know if any part of it is.
The bars are probably tipped with metal, and then it's a fiberglass.
Right. I was thinking aluminum or something, but yeah, that's probably not heavy duty enough.
Oh, they said, so Choppa says, you said welded seams. So when something is welded, it's heat sealed, bonded together, and pressed together. So, and then it usually is either like a friction. They use sonic welding to weld things together.
Right. But most people think of welding as involving metal.
Yep. So it'll be reinforced seams so that it can't get pulled apart. But you know what? Nature doesn't care for your welded seams. If a bear shows up.
I was going to say a bear may not go well. This has the welded corners, so I'm going to stay away from this one.
This one's a little. This is a Coleman tent with welded seams. Oh, it's the Skydome.
As long as the bear goes to somebody else's tent, you're in good shape. Yikes.
Yeah, that's usually what it does. All right. Hulk smash. All right, let's keep going. The next article's over in Non Sequitur News. Yeah, I know it's not wanted, but this is a weekly show, and sometimes we grab stuff from all over the place. But I keep asking restaurants for sourdough bread. And damn it, I want sourdough bread. If I have to make it at home, I'll make it at home. But the problem with sourdough is you have to have a starter, and it's kind of heavy lifting at times. And if you have animals in your house and you don't hermetically seal your sourdough, they will hunt that out for whatever reason.
Right.
And I have savanna cats, and they are borderline psychotic wild animals that want to consume your soul.
Get anything.
Anything, anywhere, all at once. So baking sourdough bread may seem pointedly old-fashioned. It is not. But that doesn't mean it's immune to the allure of a novelty gadget. No, it would benefit from a novelty gadget. So that's where Sourdough Sidekick comes in, a new countertop appliance that automatically feeds your sourdough starter so it's ready to bake the moment you need it.
Okay, I really like this idea.
Except this thing has to be a monster to clean.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It sounds really easy to use, but
yeah,
that's for the first time you use it, right?
Yeah, the first time is real easy. The Sourdough Sidekick will work with other flour brands, but the King Arthur logo isn't going anywhere because it's the King Arthur starter. All right, so The sourdough sidekick aims to eliminate the legwork and guesswork from feeding your starter. Dominic Preston put the article together. I think it's a Kickstarter. Is that what I read? Let me see. So the article, by the way, is over at The Verge. You can actually get these articles if you hit !want and into the chat over on Twitch, but they're already embedded in
it is on
YouTube.
Indiegogo. Sorry.
Oh, Indiegogo. I've only done one thing on Indiegogo. I've done a bunch over on Kickstarter, but on Indiegogo, I got one done and it burned me. Yeah, it was supposed to be camera lights.
Okay, but that doesn't mean every project on Indiegogo goes up in flames.
Yeah, just go into it knowing that it isn't a store. There is an expectation of performance, but there's no guarantee of delivery. So if you're going to be wounded by the amount of money you lose, don't invest. So the Sidekick is a joint project by First Build, the GE Appliances Innovation Hub responsible for the viral Opal ice maker. Yeah, I want that.
I was going to say that's a point in its favor, right?
Yeah. And the King Arthur Baking Company, currently raising funds on Indiegogo and well past its initial funding goal. I'm going to have to go over there and maybe I'll take the hit. But this thing is actually, it looks like it's a no-brainer. You put your sourdough base in this and it feeds it so it is constantly alive because it is living. There's more heavy lifting with sourdough. You have to do a lot of babysitting. And it can die, but if you treat it right, there are people that supposedly have it for decades, the same sourdough.
Which doesn't make sense, but yes, you hear things like where it's like passed down to generations or whatever, which just sounds kind of weird.
Like I've done that with yeast. I've recovered yeast from brews and then you recycle the yeast. You can do that 3 or 4 times maximum before things get a little funky. But sourdough, I've never done it. But I'm always yearning for sourdough. Every time I go out, I'm like, do you have sourdough? And I don't actually go anywhere else and get it. So why not make it at home? It actually lowers the cost quite a bit, but it's a lot of babysitting. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, you just go over to the Indiegogo that's embedded in this thing. It says there's a little more to it than that, though. You can plug in date and time. It's essentially an automated flour and water dispenser that'll keep your starter alive when you don't have time to babysit it. And they say it takes the guesswork out of the timing to feed it, even though it could be overactive and you feed it more. And because of that overactivity, because nothing is ever perfect in nature, it could consume too much and die off, or it becomes static, like it just kind of sits there and it doesn't develop anything, but it isn't necessarily growing or staying fresh and good. It's
taking care of like the temperature, and you can adjust beyond that. I mean, it seems like it's accounted for some of that, but obviously it's probably an experiment as you start using it.
Yeah, usually, see, they mention this, if you're a more advanced baker, you can specify your own feeding schedules and flour to water ratios. And that's usually what bakers, particularly those really interested in sourdough, they can basically do a sniff test and go, yeah, this is good, or yeah, this is moving towards an off flavor. It uses a micro feeding schedule that only generates discard once every 7 days. So it should reduce waste too. But if you are in control of it, you have even less waste unless you mess up really bad. So it says it's able to be backed on Indiegogo for $129, or as a pair. You can go from one to the other, I suppose, and always.
I mean, I guess if you staggered it well, you'd always have fresh sourdough.
Yeah, exactly. So you just take a chunk of sourdough out of it and make something with it, but save a piece and throw it into the other one and clean out the other one so that you never have any biological, contamination, because that's the worst. So if you want something a little more simple, you can actually get the $50 breadwinner, measures your starter's volume so you know when it needs feeding and when it's ready to bake, which is basically, it's like a glass jar probably. I haven't seen that. But we actually get to see this. I don't know how
advanced that other one is.
And I'm very tech-centric, so I like the idea of this. I might have to give it a chance. And baking bread is easy mode. Sourdough starter isn't necessarily. Most of the time it's trial and error is time consuming, so you want to minimize that trial. But once you have
Meanwhile,
it,
you're not having your sourdough to eat.
yeah, once you have it, you just mix it in with your recipe and throw it into you just roll it into a ball and set it on a cookie sheet essentially, and it'll just rise right there and you're done and dusted. All right, let's keep going. We got 2 more articles. This one is, we love this Hodo measuring tool, laser measuring tool, and it's down to $30 on Amazon's big spring sale. But I am interested in all things tech, particularly something that allows me to get rid of, well, it's right over there, about to fall off my desk. I have one of these, what are they called? Big?
Oh, like those measuring tapes?
Yeah, but it's chunky. It's a DeWalt, like, I don't know what they call it. It's something like fat measuring tape or whatever. It's extra wide and you can extend it extra long so that you can measure stuff solo and not have to worry about it snapping 2 inches away from you. But if I could do it with a laser, FatMax, Choppa, thank you. Wow.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Faster
Perfect.
than AI.
So
I
FatMax.
could not locate it.
Yeah. I'm throwing out all kinds of names. People are screaming at their monitor.
Exactly.
No, it's not dumbass. It's FatMax. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks for the clarification.
So Ingrid Cruz put this article together. The deck statement. Oh, and it's over at cnet.com. The deck statement says this compact Hodo laser measuring tool is perfect for your construction projects, framing, and other measuring tasks. I wouldn't rely on this for like high-end woodworking, but it gets the job done.
But yeah, like if you're trying to measure your room or something, or figure out if you can fit a piece of furniture or something, this probably would work.
Yeah, I'd have to try it out and see just how precise it can get, because laser tools, depending on the quality, can get very, very precise, or they can have a little bit of wobble in there, and well, you usually get what you pay for, but this could be spectacular. It says the tool includes a ring that lets you hold it more easily. It's compact and features an OLED screen. Wow, it has an OLED screen in it? That's interesting. That shows you measurements as well as a remaining battery life, and it's designed for items anywhere between 0.16 feet to, and that's because this thing is a certain dimension, so you have to get it to where it needs to measure, to 99 feet with accurate readings between plus or minus 1/16 of an inch. So fine woodworking is
good.
out.
Right,
it's
but
still,
for most uses, it's probably okay.
So for me, if I'm doing something that's considered high resolution, like I have got a product that I make that is 0.002 of an inch, perfect. And any deviation from that, it's because if you put a bunch of it together, you're a mile out of alignment at the end of the day. So it needs to be as rectified as possible, and a laser tool just won't do it. You have to go in with a micrometer and just be precise. So it says it's rechargeable, includes a USB-C port, so everything should be USB-C in 2025. Even, see, it's way over there. I won't get it, but all of my stuff is always USB-C. If I manufacture something, it's USB-C, or it's wireless charging altogether. So if you're looking for more devices to use around the home, they have this whole link about best home and kitchen stuff at the Amazon Big Spring Sale over at CNET. We don't have a relationship with anybody in any of this. We just talk about it. And it's largely because I want it, or somebody I know has said that they want something like this. And by proxy, I think everybody wants something like this. And just imagine, I mean, you could measure something up to 100 feet, and this is just like sitting in your bag, and you never know. I mean, there are times where somebody goes, how long is that couch? Because they want to buy the couch, and somebody has to go, hold on a second. I'll go out to my truck and get you could have that in your back pocket. It's small.
That's right. And you could avoid a A Wayfair type moment.
For context of that, I bought a Wayfair couch that had measurements like a grown-up, but when it got delivered, it was basically like a Cub Scout. It was the right dimensions in like length and width. In height, it was
But it was like
short.
apartment scale or something.
Yeah. The back was really narrow. The arms were really narrow. When you sat in it, you felt like what was the dude that was tied up by the little people? What's his name? Gulliver's Travels. So you feel like it was Gulliver. You know, you were this giant beast of a person sitting in this tiny little. So
Right, I was thinking like Alice in Wonderland or something.
Never again did I buy Wayfair stuff. Anyway, but it's great for an apartment, for, you know, certain places where the overall isn't necessarily, you know, roomy and all of that kind of stuff. You know, New York apartments benefit from Wayfair. All right, let's go on to our last article, and it's over in Wanted, the new Bambu H2D 3D printer, which this is an unfortunate name because it implies that it's a 2D printer, which...
Yeah, it's a little weird for a 3D printer.
If you can print something, it's not 2D. Anyway, so hype or holy grail, 50 hours later, the author of this is still trying to decide. The newly announced H2D has a lot more going for it than just 3D printing. It's manufacturing menagerie that could lead to a creative new ideas. But does it all work together? So the article is over at cnet.com. James Bricknell put the article together. And so there's a little bit of problem with this. And that is that Bambu decided to change their back-end infrastructure and hobble certain functions. And in that process, it's basically decided that they are eventually going to make it a remote-only service that you have to pay for certain functions. So people are really flinching at what they have done with the software. Hardware is brilliant. Hardware from end to end has always been great. I like the multi-filament device, this Ames thing here that feeds into the 3D printer. It spits out these little plastic poos periodically so that the plastic is aligned, the printer filament is aligned properly, and there isn't a bleed from one color to the other. It's pretty brilliant. But it says here, they call it a multifunctional manufacturing hub because it can do more than just print 3D objects. With the right accessories, you can use it as a laser engraver or even a vinyl cutter, similar to a Cricut, Bambu. And these all-in-one devices, unless they're wildly expensive because they have this tooling that is designed to change the overall structure from end to end, I've never trusted these multi-composite solutions.
No, because you might have a failure on one, and then it's like, well, do you get a whole new device, or you just not have that function, and it's just taking up space that you can't use?
Yeah, you're just down and out altogether. So, you know, I have a metal lathe, I have a wood, not a lathe, I have a metal CNC machine, I have a wooden CNC machine, I have a wood lathe. I want to get a metal lathe, but they're heavy hitting, so you have to have the room for it and the need and all of that kind of stuff. I've got a laser and a fiber laser. You know, I've got the tools for doing certain things. And when one fails, I don't have to go out and buy another entire device because one fails. I can't use the two others that it's a composite for, right?
Right.
So it says Bambu Lab burst onto the 3D printing scene just 2 years ago and has since managed to turn consumer 3D printing on its head. Everybody loved the Carbon. I did too. I didn't buy it, but that's because I had other 3D printers. The A1 Mini combo is actually amazing, and I had been considering switching over to Bambu, but then they did this pivot with their software, and it made me flinch a little bit. Having a laser that has to reach out to an offsite location is frustrating, particularly if their service is overwhelmed by something, or they get a denial of service attack, or my internet goes down, or whatever. It's frustrating. So I really don't want to have to reach out to somebody else. But
Well,
it
and you
says,
really don't want that to happen while you're in the middle of a print.
yeah, exactly. But if you can get prints like this, I think it's pretty cool. Now, this one actually, you can see the lines from the layering, but it is what it is. So as you can imagine, the H2D is a good 3D printer. It may even be great. A few weeks that they've used it have produced many prints and 0 fails, which is spectacular for a 3D printer. The Business Gorilla from Photos Mint, you can see here, printed wonderfully this. Though I used too high a layer height in the impressive 325 by 320 by 325 millimeter build. Gives a lot of room to play with. Yeah, it's actually quite a big space. Depending. I mean, you can get bigger, but you pay more. So the H2D goes beyond what came before it with a dual nozzle setup. They say that they're hesitant with dual nozzles because one often gets in the way of the other. And actually, with dual nozzles, the area that you can actually print in is not as wide as the build plate, because one device, if you put the filament in here, you can't get to this area because it will hit the edge of the build plate.
Oh, okay.
Unless they have the frame set up so this whole print head can put this nozzle right on the edge of the build plate, you have a more confined space. So it isn't necessarily 325 by 320 by 325. Well, the 325 height might be fine. But anyway, then they have a new AIMS that is also upgraded. So now it includes environmental controls that can help maintain your filament by keeping it dry and away from moisture, which keeping it dry means away from moisture. But anyway, so moisture.
We want it really dry.
Yeah. So most filament is hydrophilic, so it'll absorb moisture, and you want it as dry as possible, but not brittle. And what ends up happening is your filament absorbs moisture, and then when you go to print, it oozes one way or the other, or it makes a bubble. Or I've never had that problem, and I've had my filament just kind of hanging out. So now my next print is probably going to explode. But anyway. They said that they've used the 5th nozzle to print supports using PETG with PLA in the AIMS 2, and basically 2 different types. You can break away the supports easier. You can use actually like alcohol or another material, another liquid to dissolve certain filaments, so that you don't even have to worry about snipping them off and sanding, because that opens up a door for a whole lot of pain and suffering of sanding all day long. So they say here, their only 3D printing concern really isn't about the 3D printer itself, but how much maintenance it'll require if you use the laser module. That is always a hot mess, literally. Lasers actually kick up a lot of debris, and it's nearly microscopic. It gets everywhere. You see smoke, but this stuff is usually oil bound or has other stuff in it. So you have to have.
You probably want to have like face protection and dust extraction and all kinds of things.
Yep. And then you have to clean everything inside. And cleaning, look at this thing. This thing has exposed belts and all kinds of stuff. I would be hesitant to run a laser in this thing. So they say, that being said, the H2D has been built from the ground up to expel as much as that is possible with a powerful extraction and filtration system that works very well. But I don't care how big this thing is, the filtration system will have to be babysat constantly. Particularly if you're using a laser quite a bit. I would suggest just getting a laser. I'd rather you get a smaller one that's purpose built, and then you can use a much larger filtration system and set it underneath the table and just vent exhaust into that filter. Full on HEPA filter, otherwise you'll regret it. Don't allow your laser to exhaust into your room. You will regret it. And definitely, whatever you do, don't laser cut PVC. It will create
Hydrochloric acid, right?
hydrochloric acid, yeah, and it'll eat the machine from the outside or from the inside out, and you if you inhale it. So don't do that. So it seems like it would be fun to have an all-in-one device, but like a computer, if the monitor goes bad and you have an all-in-one computer, you have to give up your computer until you get a replacement. So like a computer, I say get a separate unit, get the best monitor that you can afford, get the best chair you can afford, get the best desk, set stand so you can tailor it to your dimensions, get a split keyboard. Do it right the first time. Otherwise, you're going to spend triple or quadruple to eventually find out that you need to do it right the first time. But other than that, 3D printer, keep it a 3D printer. Laser, make it a laser. CNC and all of that kind of stuff, get purpose-built ones. Otherwise, it's good for the one-off kind of a thing, but when one fails, it's all done. So I've been there, so hopefully people listen. But at any rate, that is the end of today's Wanted. So we are going to print ourselves a vehicle. Oh, by the way, in the RealityHacker episode, they used a 3D printer to print a robot that was powered by a gas cylinder, and nothing stopped it. Nothing.
That walked in and out of water and just kept going.
Beach sand.
It was quite crazy.
It walked across the beach into a puddle, like completely submerged. It was bubbling like a crab that would run into the water, right? You see the little bubbles afterward. And then it walked out the other side. So 3D printers with the right design, but it had a little gas manifold and all
some
kinds of
stuff that looks like modern robotics.
Yeah. Based on the video, it actually took an elevator and drove a car to the beach, and then it got cold and said that it wanted to go back to the lab. So anyway, 3D printers. You know, people have said since 3D printers came online, oh, it's just a hobby. It's just a waste of time. You never need one, blah, blah, blah. I have printed up so many things that fix a problem for me. But now I've solved all of the problems, so I don't print anything. Now it's just sitting there.
But it is really good if you need a spare part for something, or something breaks, or you need to jigger something. It's pretty amazing what you can do with it.
Yep, I've made toys for people. I've made handles for things. I've made a locking mechanism that fixed a vacuum when it broke. All kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I keep threatening to start up a 3D printing farm just so that I can print stuff and put it on the website. But not yet. I don't know. Somebody tell me what they want me to print and I'll print it. Send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com. Not with the model, a link to the model. I'm in cybersecurity, so I can't sit there and open every attachment that gets sent my way. Anyway, we're going to hop onto that 3D printed robot, and that'll bring us back to the front page of Wanted over at ohmtown.com, where you should go and become a citizen. Sign up, sign in, then you get to see all of this great news that we aggregate all day long. It's a lot of fun. 6 main categories, 50 channels. Go over there. Don't be a stranger. Some people talk, other people just view that little snippet. It teases them enough that they click the link, and that'll take them over to our sources. So go over and check it out. Be sure to follow us over on YouTube as well. Download the podcast, all kinds of stuff. You want to say bye?
Bye-bye, Hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for this week's Wanted. Stay tuned for the continuity report.
Yep, so the continuity report is all entertainment news, and we've got 5 articles already lined up. We're going to have to shut down the stream so it breaks everything. Stick around. Everything gets ported over to YouTube. Everything is here on Twitch as well. Twitch, though, it's quirky. It gets rid of stuff after 60 days. So I can't do anything about it. I pay extra so that it stays 60 days. Otherwise, it would be 30 days. Or
Come
2
on,
weeks
Twitch,
or something.
up your game.
Yeah, I don't know. And anybody in chat, Choppa, you gonna stick around? That would be great. If not, I'll see you soon. Yeah, I don't know who else is in chat. There's people on YouTube and I don't know where else. Before we go, is your visualizer working? You want to say something real quick?
It is not.
It is not. Okay, well, okay, we'll fix that and we'll be back. See you in a little bit, everybody. Bye-bye.